So we had no idea what it was. A pomfret, it was a shari, it was a grauper. We had
no idea.
We caught it, put it in the tank. It looked nice, it looked healthy. We put an ad,
sell it. That's why I said this podcast is going to be one crazy podcast, and I think this is something which I really want. This is what we need.
We used to bring eagles.
Oh, is it?
Falcons.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay.
Salukis, which are dogs, greyhounds, and all of a sudden we had a farmhouse in the house.
Welcome to another episode of Bridgeway Talks. We are in Dubai. We are the global headquarters for Bridgeway. We are in the iconic World Trade Center. Once again, talking to somebody who I would love to call as a powerhouse entrepreneur. Now, why I'm calling him powerhouse entrepreneur is because what he does is not just one single business, or it's not about the business which he runs, he's scaling it up and making it big and things like that. It is never that. It is about how he has, how he has pivoted from one business to another business, but not with an intention of, when you start a business, you always have an intention of making it big and, making it, but this is an intention of doing something very different. So before the podcast started, we had a lot of discussion on various things, and I think I feel this is going to be one hell of a podcast because we are going to talk about a lot of things, and we are going to talk about how he is reached the stage where he is today, and I think he's one of the biggest, I would say, in this part of the world when it comes to pet supplies, pet food, pet, everything to do with pet. I think he is one of the biggest players over here over a period of last 25, 30 years, if I'm not wrong. And apart from this, he does a lot of other work, which we will hear from him himself. Without any further delay, I'm going to introduce you to Sidarth Mahindra.
Thank
you so much for being here. We met probably a couple of years back when we had a drive with Mercedes back home into Wayanad and all that, and I think that was something which from then onwards I always wanted to do a small session with you, and time never permitted, and I think this is the time when I said when we are traveling we need to come and do this for you, and you were the first person who we pinged on, when I pinged on LinkedIn so that we can get in touch and do this. Thank you so much for your time, and it's a pleasure to have you here to hear your story. As I always say, this is about you. It is not about Bridgeway, it's not about Girish, it's not about Mercedes, it's not about anything, it's about you. So everything that we talk about here today is going to be, sir, about you and more you, right? So let us start off. Give us a brief about yourself, a small introduction about you, what you do and how you do it and things like that. A small introduction. Over to you, sir.
Cool, super. Thank you for the introduction. I think it was overwhelming, and the last time I saw you in Calicut, it brought me back to Calicut 3 times.
Right.
I went to Wayanad all the 3 times that I've been to Calicut. So that was an amazing experience.
Right.
Something about me is we've been in the UAE as a family for about 60 years. It's birthday as well on December 2nd.
Is it? Okay.
This building that you are in is in fact testament to that.
Right.
As a trade center. So
a
lot of memories, and I think it's a perfect location now where we're shooting. So it adds everything back.
Yeah.
So for people to know what we do and how we came up, it was in the late 60s and early 70s when my dad moved here. He was into the hospitality business, running hotels, restaurants, cafes, and my brother and I, we obviously grew up in a very modest and a very simple family.
Right.
And at that time, what was the survival at that time? It was you're looking for what did our families and our folks look for? Was for shelter, food, and clothing.
Right.
And so that was one of the steps that they came here. They accomplished that.
Right.
And then as we were growing up, we went to a very simple school. We graduated, not the best of students. At least I wasn't the best of students. People make fun and say he was an outstanding kid, and I take it with a lot of humility. And I said, yes, I really was an outstanding
kid. Okay.
And then going from there, I graduated in economics and accounts.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And then got some good grades,
Right.
which were good in my perception.
Okay.
And interestingly, showed them to my dad, and he's like, "How could you get these grades?"
Right.
And by the time I informed my dad about the grades, it took me at least 9 to 10 months
Right.
from the time the grades actually came out.
Oh, okay.
And it was at that time when I had to either go to Canada, UK, or for further education.
studies.
Nonetheless, didn't happen. My brother got better grades.
Right.
He went to Canada, and I was in Dubai.
Okay.
And I joined one of probably the cheapest universities that was available.
Right.
Because given my grades, this is what my family said, you deserve this.
Yeah.
And that really worked actually.
Right. Okay.
There was a university down in Dubai.
Right.
It looked more like a campus.
Okay.
Which was probably a 6-bedroom villa.
Oh, nice.
It had rooms all over.
Okay.
And it didn't have the feel of a university.
Right.
Anyways, I'm talking more about my past is because I
it's interesting.
Enjoyed that past.
That's why I said this podcast is going to be one crazy podcast, and I think this is something which I really want. This is what we need. We need your past, what you did, and I think that makes it all the more different than just telling I run this store, I make so much money, I do this, I drive this car. It just doesn't make sense. But this, what you're saying, is absolutely what I want to listen to, and I think most of them who are following me as a podcast would love to listen. Please go ahead, sir.
So then while I was in the university, I was there for a week, and then I begged my father. I said, "Listen, what do you need for me to go to a better university?"
Okay.
He said, "I need grades."
Right.
Done. I'll get you grades.
Okay.
And then I joined another university. It was an American university in Dubai, and that was the end of Dubai. Literally, it was where Hard Rock Cafe used to be.
Okay.
It was on the main road, the Sheikh Zayed road, but that was the last building that existed, and after that, it was on the way to Abu Dhabi.
Right.
Anyways, I got to the university. I enrolled myself in for finance and banking.
Okay.
Quite the contrary, because I was absolutely poor in finance and banking. At least in maths. When I was in school.
Right.
And I dropped that subject.
Right.
So I was actually venturing into something that was completely unknown to me, which was again numbers.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got into university. Started with finance and banking, and I knew that there was one goal that I had to be on the dean's list.
Right.
So dean's list is if your overall GPA is above 4, I had to get a 3.95.
Right.
So that was my first ever experience with numbers, that I had to get a 3.95 out of 4. Because in school, it was 1 out of 100, 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10.
Right.
So that time it wasn't about numbers. It was just being there in school.
Being there, okay.
So in university, got into the dean's list. A letter went to my dad that your son's on the dean's list.
Fantastic.
And unknowingly, I was just pushing myself for excellence.
Right.
And he got the notice, and he calls me up. He's like, "You're on the dean's list." I'm like, "Really? Is that what you want?" So I said, "Does that buy me a renewal of continuity to be in this university?"
Right.
He's like, "Absolutely, yes."
Yeah.
And then from there on, I found one accountability partner. Had one of my friends, and I studied with him. I played with him. We joined different sports activities together. We joined different tuitions together. We learned trading together.
Is it? Okay.
So you needed somebody to be accountable, so that you feel you're more responsible.
Right.
And then it was a buddy system where we two, studied together.
Right.
It was me outpacing him while he was trying to outpace me.
Right.
So that was a really good, I would say, collaborative competition.
Right.
And from there, really, I understood what collaboration is.
Right.
So long story short, while I was in university, learned a lot.
Right.
I think that was a stepping stone.
Right.
School is great. You've got to get your fundamentals right.
Absolutely.
But university was something which was a game changer for me.
Right.
And then from there on, that was how I actually got into business.
My university. Okay. So, so the university part is so interesting. But then you said that your dad, your parents were into hospitality business, and you are into a totally different path altogether. Hospitality is a very different. How did these two happen? So, was it easy for you to get into what? Because most of them get into a business which probably they would love. They would, when you look at it in paper, when you look at it in a white paper, and you say, I have this business. It's easy for me to scale. Maybe a coffee shop or maybe any other business. And just how did you get into the pet business? And what was the idea and what was your thought process? One is love for pets, love for animals, love for being there for them. And second part is, as a business, how do I collaborate? My love for pets, but I love animals, but how do I collaborate my business with this? How did this whole thing happen, and how did your family take it? Because they're into a totally different business altogether, right? And what sort of support mechanism? How do you enter into this? Was it like you just started off one fine day that I need to do this, or was there somebody to handhold you, somebody to tell you, no, take this step? How did that happen?
Very interesting. So I was talking about my university life, and
Right.
my business actually happened while we were in university. So my brother was in Canada at that time, and it was his brainchild where we need to do something into this business.
Right.
So we used to live in an area which is a very local area called Satwa, which still exists.
Okay.
And that's where most of the Emirati families used to live at that time.
Right.
So we used to, jump on our bicycles, go down the souks,
Right.
go to every flower shop, because a pet shop was not a single-handedly run as a pet shop. It was blended together with the flower shop.
Right. Oh, okay.
It was home and garden.
Oh, okay.
That was the category.
Oh,
there was
okay.
It wasn't a pets category.
It
wasn't a
home
pet
and
industry.
garden.
It was home and garden.
Oh, okay.
So it was a subcategory of that. So each time we used to go actually buying shawarmas, because shawarmas at that time were the cheapest. Was 1 dirham, 150, 1.5 dirhams. And we used to drive down on the bike and stop at all these pet stores or florists.
Right.
And we used to see dogs, cats, birds, fish. So it was always in us.
Right.
Second of all, we used to also go fishing.
Oh, okay.
So believe it or not, we used to have our own rods. We used to go down the bridge. There were some areas which were allocated for fishing. In fact, we could fish almost everywhere that day.
Right.
Throw the rod in, whatever fish we got it back home, made sure it survived until we got it back home, put it in a fish aquarium tank, put the fish in, feed the fish, put an ad in the newspaper, and sell that fish.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we had no idea what it was. A pomfret, it was a shari, it was a grouper, we had no idea. We caught it, we put it in the tank, it looked nice, it looked healthy, we put an ad, sell it.
Nice.
So gradually we started doing this with birds and various other things. And at that time my father was also into the catering business, hospitality.
Right.
So there were two things to do. One was camel racing, one was horse racing.
Right.
But camel racing was the first that started the whole trend of competition in terms of what you see as horse racing.
Right.
So at that time, camel racing, my dad's job was to provide for food.
Food, okay.
And at that time, whoever wins or whichever camel won, there were 3 prizes. The first prize was a Land Rover.
Oh, wow.
The second prize was probably some money.
Mm-hmm.
And the third prize was some sort of pet. So it could be a falcon, eagle, a parrot, a dog, a cat, something of that sort.
Right.
It was always into something which was to do with nature.
Okay.
Obviously, my dad, the humble man, he said, no, I can't take a Land Rover, let me take something else.
Right.
You can't refuse as well, it's a sign of respect.
Right.
And he used to bring eagles, falcons,
oh, nice. Oh, okay.
salukis, which are dogs of greyhounds. And all of a sudden we had a farmhouse in the house.
Oh,
and
wow.
we built a little hut for them and we used to put them in there, used to look after them. So animals were so natural to us.
Nice.
And funny enough, then we started breeding. Funny enough, then we started putting some more ads. And we started building the community around us.
Right,
we didn't know there was a community of pets.
Right.
So we started building the community.
Very nice.
A lot of my friends also asked me, but you're into the animal business. I said, no, I'm into the pets business. There's a difference.
Right.
Animals, not all animals can be domesticated.
Right.
Or not all animals can be pets.
Right.
And pets are animals, but they're domesticated.
Right.
So that time, we had this little farmhouse.
Right.
And let's go back to university. University, we had to present. So I was in a class called Principles of Retailing.
Right. Oh, okay.
And it was these theater classes.
Right.
So we had to present down. We were right at the bottom, and then people viewing you like it was a cinema.
Right.
And they said, you guys got to present for 15 minutes, come up with some ideas. People were presenting about mobiles, and at that time there was something called Magic Diary. It was a Casio Magic Diary.
Right.
Different stuff.
Right.
And I said, how do we get an A? So in my mind, it was all about Dean's List.
Dean's List.
right? How do I appeal to my audience?
Right.
Emotionally, how do I connect with them?
Right.
Because emotional was the highest grade or it was the highest, what do I say, subset of the points
Understood.
where you could get an A.
Yeah, okay.
It was emotional appeal.
Okay.
So how do I hit people's emotional appeal? And at that time, I went to one of the vendors in Sharjah. I was 18 years old. I gave my driving license, gave him my license as a guarantee, and I gave him 500 dirhams. I said, I need this dog. It was a it was a Pekingese.
Okay.
Got that dog back into university after a lot of approvals.
Right.
So I had an approval from 10:15 until 10:40.
Okay.
That was the approval.
Okay.
I could not have the dog before that or after that.
Okay. Understood.
Went to the class, took one of my friends in. We were presenting as a pair. My friend hated pets. She never had one, so she didn't know how to interact. I said, you want an A? She's like, yes, I want an A. I said, leave it to me. Anyways, started talking about the Pekingese. Nobody knew I took a dog to school, to university, because it was still taboo.
Right.
Okay, I'm talking about 23 years, 24 years.
Right.
And put the puppy on the table, and I started showing them, and I said, this is the Pekingese that I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. And all the faces were like, oh, wow. And I knew I got the A. I knew I got the emotional appeal.
Right.
And interestingly, one of the students, she puts her hand up right at the end. She's like, I want to buy that dog.
Buy the dog, okay.
I had no idea. I had no idea commercially how to sell the dog.
Right.
I said, okay, I'll let you know after school or after college.
Right.
And we finished the class, and I had the remit from my principal or dean. And he said, you need to exit the school, university. So I said, okay, I'll exit with the puppy. And she followed me. She's like, how much is the dog? And I told my brother, I said, bro, she wants to buy the dog. I have no price. I just got the dog to present to get an A. Like, tell her 8,000 dirhams.
Wow.
8,000 dirhams at that time was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Probably I didn't even know how to count 8,000.
Right.
So I said, hey, this dog is 8,000. Done. She went to the ATM, withdrew the cash, came with the cash at the same time.
Nice.
That ATM still exists. 24 years later, that school still exists. Brilliant. And I actually go there. I go there at least once in 6 months to my old university just to relive my old memories.
Brilliant.
And she gave me 8,000. The next day she said, I want a Chihuahua. Then the following day she said, I want an African grey parrot.
Oh, okay.
And we gathered about 40,000 dirhams. And all of a sudden we said, oh, looks like we're in business.
Nice. Nice way to start a business.
So yeah, it was very unique.
Very unique.
Went to one of the malls. Okay. I remember the retail manager was very friendly. He's like, what do you want to open? He's like, pet store.
Okay.
He's like, no, we can't allow you to open a pet store in a mall.
Right.
And we still...
So your first store was in a mall, or you?
Yes, it was in a mall. It was on the first floor. It was the first mall ever.
Okay.
It was in the desert. It's now it's called Dubai Investment Park.
Oh, wow. Wow,
okay.
Wow.
But then 22 years before...
It was a desert.
It was a desert.
It was nothing.
And that was the cheapest spot where we could get a shop.
Right. So now how many outlets do you have? Where are you present within the UAE? And
so now we have 20 retail outlets. So we're in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Fujairah, Sharjah.
Okay.
So we run a chain of pet stores. We have veterinary clinics.
Oh, veterinary clinics too.
Grooming vans.
Okay.
We want to complete the circle of holistic care.
Okay.
So yeah, we've come a long way from that single store.
Right.
And the whole idea was...
So you are right now present only in UAE. Any plans of expanding it to other Middle East countries or Europe or India, things like that? Any ideas?
Absolutely. We have a whole franchise model set up.
Okay. Oh, it's franchise model.
We have contracts ready. We would love for people to approach, and we would love to approach them as well to open up across. I would look at India, over and above GCC, which is growing exponentially. And of course, in terms of distribution, we distribute across GCC and I distribute in India.
Okay.
So another division of a business. One is retail, and the other one is.
So you have tie-up with OEMs for all. So again, a pet has a lot of things like pet food, and so what could you just give us, for the listeners to understand, what are these products when you divide them into various categories? I'm sure you'll have a lot of categories of stuff. Food is one, health is one, your what do you call it, collars, leashes, all those are one set. So do you have a division like that? Or?
Sure. So at this point in time, when somebody asks me, what do you do?
Okay.
So in a very funny way, which maybe I don't want to say it on camera, but I sell from the top to the bottom.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
everything in the middle
Right.
is a given. So,
Right.
knowingly or unknowingly, I think it's a good problem that we are in.
Right.
We have almost over 10,000 SKUs.
Oh, wow. Wow.
As of recently, what I ran my list.
That's a hypermarket.
We had 16,000 SKUs.
That's a hypermarket. That's huge.
It's wide-eyed. See, when you're growing, when you're
Right.
building, you don't really understand what you are building at that time.
Right.
When you look at it in the hindsight, you're like,
Right.
oh, geez, I've built a lot.
Right.
So 16,000 SKUs at this point in
Nice.
time. 10,000 we actively manage, we
Right.
distribute. So we divide it between food, non-food.
Okay.
And then in food, you've got everything from supplements to treats,
To everything.
dry food, wet food, anything that is ingested, that is all into the
Right.
food category. The
Right.
non-food goes into accessories, say cat litter, collars, leashes,
Right.
dog beds,
Right.
furniture,
Everything.
etc. Even tech. There's
Okay.
a lot of tech that goes into the pet industry. We're
Right.
doing pet collars, GPRS collars, tracking
Right.
collars.
Right.
In fact, we do a lot with camels over here and falcons, so GPRS trackers, etc.
Right.
So there's a lot to do with food, non-food, and that's the
Yeah.
way we do it.
So one more thing is Dubai has got a very different tastes for pets. From what I know, so you regular pets could be your dogs and your cats and your fishes and birds to a certain extent, but Dubai's got a very different level of pet. You have lions and tigers and camels and all that. I don't know if it's true, but I've never been petting a tiger or a lion in my life. I've seen the Arabs do it. They have lions at their homes. And first and foremost, is it legal to do that? Because it's probably illegal back home or probably illegal in a lot of places. Is it legal to do that? That is first. The second thing is, do you also have stuff for them? Do you also do, because that's a very niche segment. That might not be the mass segment. That might be the very niche segment wherein you have a couple of people who have a tiger or a lion or a wolf or I don't know. So those kind of, do you also cater to them? Those kind of thing?
Right. So the great thing is, look, leadership of the country is brilliant. It's second to none. They've understood the loopholes. They're very quick to act on the gaps,
Right.
to close these gaps. So
Right.
yes, you're right. There was a lot of ownership of animals,
Right.
which are not necessarily pets.
Right.
And as of late, that's why you see an increase in the number of animals in the zoos,
Right.
which is what they're doing. They're transitioning all these animals into the zoos,
Oh, wow.
and they start trading.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. Even the zoos,
Okay.
as much as a pet store might acquire or buy a pet,
Right.
the zoos even trade within each other.
Oh, okay.
And they're meant to be trading with each other. So
Okay.
zoo in the UAE has to trade with the zoo in India.
Okay.
In India, zoo has to trade with the zoo in, say,
Okay.
UK or
Okay.
Ireland,
Okay.
whatever.
Understood.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's how it
animal
works.
trading. That's
Okay.
how it moves.
Yeah, okay.
There are laws.
Right.
There are rules.
Right.
You can't own, a wild animal,
Right.
even if it's domesticated.
You can't own them.
You can't own them.
Right.
So they are cracking down. They are looking at it very deeply.
Right.
So at this point in time, yes, we do have products for them,
Okay.
and they're very specific. They
Okay.
get into zoonotics.
Right.
So we do food for monkeys, or the primates. We do food for ostrich. We do cat litter for large tigers and
Okay.
the cat family, tigers, cheetahs,
Right. Right.
you name it. We do fresh meat. So yes,
Nice,
everything is a subset.
Nice.
So,
Understood.
so
Yeah.
nothing is wasted. Like a dog toy
Okay.
or a bite of a dog, an aggressive dog is probably not as significant as a
Right.
large cat.
Right.
But at the same time, the manufacturer of that toy also manufactures them for the large animal.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
It's the same.
Same ball,
Yeah, yeah.
higher intensity.
We're integrating nice. Now that was about your. I would know whether it's a main part of what you do in your life, but I also know that you have of late got into helping others come up in their businesses. I don't know how you call it, a consulting company or is it something where you are doing a one-to-one interaction to help them grow? Because I also read from your website or somewhere you recently helped somebody who's 70 years old to set up his own business and things like that. Tell us a brief about that. How does that work? Is it something which you are trying to give them some kind of hand holding from what you have learned in your life so that they can become big? Is it something like that, or is it a professional setup which you're trying to do right now?
So good question, good observation.
Yeah.
So what usually happens is, and I tell my family this a lot, I said somebody held a hand along the course, and that's why we've come this far.
Right.
So it's only equally our responsibility to take somebody
Absolutely.
along with you.
Absolutely.
You know, not everything may have a monetary benefit.
Right.
But at this time, I've got employees that are working for me and not trying to run their own businesses.
Right.
I do speak to them. I do not charge them, but I
Right.
give them my experience
Right.
rather than
Right.
giving them an advice.
Right.
Experiences are far more critical because they put themselves in my shoes to see their world.
Understood,
So it's about perception, right?
Right. Right.
And I think even my father, now that we run a few other businesses,
Right.
even at the age of 78, he's still learning because he still sees how we're adapting to the
Right.
changes that go on,
Right.
and how business should be done today than it used to be done before. So
Right.
like I said, you know, our fathers and our parents were looking for survival,
Right.
but today we're looking for an opportunity in, you know, multitude or multiple opportunities.
Absolutely.
So the challenge is still there. You know,
Right.
they would say, you kids don't have the struggles we've had.
Yeah.
No, we do have the struggles.
We
The
do
struggles
have
are now, there is so much more, there's so much confusion. You're
Yeah.
more anxious and you don't know what to take
Yeah.
or what to choose.
What to prioritize? Yeah.
So every generation will see some sort of challenge. Maybe my kids will see a generation of
Right.
which robot to be a friend with.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I
So
agree.
there's a challenge in every
Right.
form,
Right.
just how you see it.
Right.
So yeah, I started helping, or I would say rather coaching, mentoring.
You're also an NLP certified person?
So I've done my NLP certification.
Okay.
But more of it is for myself.
Okay.
I work on myself.
Fantastic.
I love to do things which are more in the unknown. The pet
Fantastic.
industry was the unknown at that time.
Right.
But today you call them NLP. But that time it was just jumping.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Now you can classify what is called unknown as NLP.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So yeah, this is more stuff that I do for myself.
Right.
And I've also done some CSR work. In fact, again, in Wayanad.
Yeah, you were there in Wayanad, I remember,
You know, so happy to
with Dabur.
have these women being trained on, you know, on the fashion.
It's lovely. It's absolutely, I would say, absolutely nice to hear that, you know, somebody who's got so much of exposure. People rarely take their time off because this all require time. To be very honest, you know, what do you, as you rightly said, what do you prioritize in life, right? I can prioritize my business and my money always, which is the truth of life, which everybody does. But do I want to prioritize something else, like educating a person or empowering women? I think, why should I prioritize? It has to come from the heart, and I think I respect you for that. It's absolutely fantastic that you are involved in such kind of things, and taking that effort right now could probably a larger step going forward. You know, it might be tiny steps now, but it might be a larger step going forward, which I very firmly believe is absolutely necessary. Because I was recently reading somewhere that, you know, social cost has to be the main cause of any business. It cannot be profitability. Profitability happens because that is the reason why you start a business. But the real vision, mission of any company has to be a social cause. So I think that is something which is very nice. Now, getting a little bit more personal, give us a little bit about your holidays, your passions, your holidays, your family. You said you have a son. How does that look? You know, what do you do as on a holiday on a Sunday? Now you have National Days holiday. Do you travel? Do you love driving? I think you love driving, but yeah. So what? Give us a little bit about that.
So it's I'm a very what do I say, adrenaline high junkie.
Yeah.
I need action.
Right.
You know, which my wife now, because she's a clinical psychologist, she says ADHD and stuff like that. I said, but I've always been this way, and I think this is my strength.
Right.
So again, I just change the narrative.
Right.
You know what I mean? So me, I would love to be outdoors. I'm always outdoors.
Right. Okay.
Either I'm playing something, or I'm off-roading, or I am kayaking, or I'm in the sea, or I'm in the pool.
Nice.
I'm a water guy.
Right. Okay.
I like to be in water and sand.
Right.
Snow, not as much.
Okay.
Why? Because we're not exposed to,
You're not exposed to
snow
snow.
in the UAE as much,
Right.
Other than the ski slope that we have.
Yeah.
But that's more for recreation than for actually sporting for me.
Yeah.
But anything with motor, anything that
Okay.
has an engine, so it could
Right.
be boating, it could be jet skiing, it could be off-roading, buggying,
Buggies.
you name it.
So you-
I would love to be there. In terms of holidays, again, I love to camp in the desert.
Oh, nice.
I love barbecues.
Oh, okay.
Take the meat, cook it.
Nice.
Sometimes I'm even alone. Take my laptop, take my generator. I'm there for a day.
Right.
It's just my me time. Something like you said.
Brilliant,
You
brilliant.
got to have your disconnect and your me time.
Yes,
I
yes.
love being off road. I mean, I love being outdoors.
Outdoors. Okay.
You know.
Very nice. How's your connection back home? How do you often visit India? Do you have family back home? Is there some people there where you, because at the end of the day the roots are from there. So do you get back home? Is there some plans for you to set up something? You have distribution, you said, but is there something more in your future plans to be in India and things like that?
Definitely, I feel so Indian centric.
Right.
One of my bosses
Okay.
who I used to work for in the UAE, I used to do a job for 7 years.
Right.
So that 7 years really taught me who I am as a person and what are my skill sets,
Right.
which areas I'm great at.
Right.
And he used to call me a plastic Indian.
No.
And when someone says something right the opposite of what you believe in,
Right.
then you go out of your way to prove them wrong.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's worked a lot for me.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
It's like pet business. Who gets into the pet business?
Right.
Indians
So you
get
wanna go for
into
that.
being a doctor, engineer, scientist.
Absolutely.
How can you succeed in the pet business?
Right.
We'll show you how.
We'll show you how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone said you're a plastic Indian. Plastic Indian? Let me show you how I'm not.
Yeah.
And then right after, when we were running the business in the UAE, again, anyone who says no, for me the answer is yes in my head.
Okay.
Don't do this. I will.
do this.
It's
Right.
always been the opposite.
Right.
Always.
Right.
Sometimes you got to buy peace.
Yeah.
If someone says no, you just do it. No, you don't do it because you want to compromise. But most of the time, I do the opposite.
Right.
So they said, how can you survive in India? You don't even know anything about India. You don't know the tricks. You don't know the trade. You don't know
Right.
how it runs.
Right.
And I went there by myself. Took a small room. The room must be about a 5 meter by 5 meter room.
Okay.
So 10 square meter room. And I sent my first pallet from the UAE to India.
Oh, nice.
I said, let's start the business. I started the business, opened the license in a week, and I sent my container not a container, but a pallet.
Palette.
And I sent it to India. And I was the first guy in India to sell imported products
Nice.
from, the
Yeah,
US,
US.
UK into India.
Okay. So you import your goods from US, UK, and things like that.
So we import from about 35 countries.
Very nice.
We do our own private label now. We do our own brand.
You're also available online?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Online, you have to be online.
You have to be online. Yeah. Fantastic.
So that's how we started India, and it's because I felt connected to India.
Very nice. Very
And,
nice. Very nice.
today
I also read somewhere that you're a firefighting person. You wait till the time you have to firefight things, and then I don't know if it's true, but I read it. I read it, and it really pulled me into this thing, because I think that is something very common. I something very common between both of us, because I don't perform if I'm not in pressure. I will perform to the next level. I would say 3 steps higher if I'm in pressure. So define that for me. Why do you first of all, is it true? Because I read it somewhere, so maybe it's not true. Is it true that you are a person who would perform under extreme pressures? That's a firefighting stage. The fire has come, and now let me fight it. That stage. Is it true that?
For me, it's very interesting. The significance of colors.
Yeah.
For me, holds highest value.
Okay.
So the color of my our pet brand is orange.
You're right. Okay.
Orange, red, yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of loud, vibrant colors.
Right.
What you see me wearing today is very subtle.
Very subtle.
But if given a chance, I would love to wear an orange suit or a red suit.
Okay.
Because it brings about the sense of urgency.
Right.
So people don't realize that you see larger brands, and especially food, it's always red. It's always orange.
Right.
Because there's a calling.
Right.
So we did a psychometric test, and in that, my personality was red.
Oh, nice.
Great, that's just me.
Okay.
So yes, there's a saying, like my father keeps saying, tell me when there is smoke. Don't tell me when there's fire.
Oh,
because
right.
it's too late before you put that fire off.
Right.
So me, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'd like to see smoke, I extinguish it. I see fire, I'll go for it. So in both situations, you've got to perform.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so it's the lag between thinking and executing.
Absolutely.
So let's say the smoke is still thinking.
Right.
But the fire is execution.
Execution, yes.
Right? So you've got to execute. You've got to adapt.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got to solve the problem. And you're right. Just like you, I perform when there is fire.
There is fire.
You know? Because you want to put off this flame and then move on
to the next one. Yeah.
So yes, definitely I love firefighting. Of course, I'm a very process-driven person.
Yeah. So I think the problem over here is people don't realize this, because I think management works well when there's a fire. I always believe management doesn't work when everything is running normal. Why do you need management? There's a process, it runs. Management works only when management is required when there's fire. How do I, anyway, that's a different story. It was great talking to you, sir. It was fantastic having you here today. I think we have done, and as I said, I would call you a powerhouse. When I started this, it's a powerhouse entrepreneur, because very rarely you find people with so much of energy, so much of passion. Everybody does business, but it's just not about the business. It's about the passion, the commitment, and the energy and the positivity that comes along with it. That makes and I think I loved every bit of our discussion today. And thank you so much for taking your time off. I know it's national holidays and you have your own plans, and we try to accommodate you. And I think for me, this was very, very important, that I learned a lot from you, and I just hope that you have a fantastic life ahead. In terms of Pet Corner, in terms of whatever you're doing in LP, I just wish you all the very best, and see you back home whenever you are there. And we will always be in touch, because I think something which is common is, as I said, the firefighting part and the cars. So I have a motor and I have a fire. So anytime you want to be in any one of them, please get in touch, and we will be in touch with you. And thank you so much. Have a great time ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. And there's one thing I want to say is that, on social media, I think you're doing a fantastic job. And just before we began, I said, people need to start, defriending people who don't support them.
Right.
And start befriending social media.
Social media.
This is a very important thing that they need to do. They need to be visible rather than be invisible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Today's trend is such.
Yeah.
Like today we've spoken about a lot of different things. The more you spread in terms of your knowledge, is the more you gain.
Absolutely.
So thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Anytime.
Thank you for accommodating me.
No, and anytime. This is our privilege to be here with you, and we just hope that we can do this again with another day with a little bit more. Let us see where B-Talks takes us. But yeah, if B-Talks takes us to the next level, I think purely we will definitely catch up again and talk a bit more. Thank you. Thank you so much.